Thanks very much, Steve. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it, taking time in your busy diaries. We hope you find today's session useful, informative, and we hope it gives you a bit of a better insight into some of the apps available within Microsoft Teams. Just to run through a bit of an itinerary for this morning. First, we're going to do some brief introductions, some of the key speakers and my colleagues here that are going to run through the session today. We're then going to give a demonstration of some of the 5 available apps that can be integrated within Microsoft Teams. And then we're also going to run through some of the apps that we've partnered with that can also integrate within Microsoft Teams. If you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to put them in the chat, and we can get back to you if we don't answer them throughout the session. And also, as promised, all attendees are now going to be entered into a prize draw, the winner for which will be announced on LinkedIn after the event. So who am I? So my name is Jack. I'm a business development manager here at Dapt UK. So this is my first year within the company. However, I'm not new to the Microsoft space. My role within the company is to build new relationships with customers, as well as do account management for those kind of existing clients. And as I'm sure you've gathered from the first couple of minutes from this webinar, my job is also to be the smooth talking Irishman to get these webinars off the ground and off to an awesome start. And so with that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Stephen if he wants to hop in, and I'll let him do his own introduction.
Cheers, Jack. Great introduction. Thanks very much for that. So hi guys, my name is Stephen Port. I'm one of the co-founders, director at Dapt in the UK. It's great to have so many people join today. Really excited for what we've put on. I think we've got a great presentation. Just a bit of background about myself. I've been working with Microsoft Technologies for around about 15 years in various roles and across almost all industries. I am passionate about delivering great solutions for our clients, helping stakeholders understand, the full possibilities and the extent of what Microsoft 365 can do. I will now pass over to Daniel to do a quick introduction.
Cheers, Steve. So much like the other guys, I've been a big fan of technology and have worked across multiple different tech roles before finding my way into consultancy. I've been working with SharePoint since version 2007, which ages me a bit, and Microsoft 365 since its launch. My passion is really working with customers to help them get the most out of the platform, and I'm hoping today we can demo a few tools that will help you get the most out of Teams. So with that, I'll pass over to Knut.
Yeah, hey guys, and thank you for joining everybody. So my name is Knut. I'm from Norway. I'm helping Dapt with multiple things, and I also work for a big intranet vendor as well. We'll drop that name not in this call, but a little bit later in the social media. So you will all see who that will be a little bit later. I also have my own company that I will demo a little bit later called Docsnode. So I'll get back to what that is when I do the demo later. But yeah, exciting to be here, exciting to be part of this. And yeah, let's get this show on the road.
Cheers, Knut. So first things first, let's do a quick poll. So it's always nice to do an icebreaker at the start of webinars. So we're going to be launching this using the lovely Microsoft Forms, and our poll today will be on have you deployed any apps to Microsoft Teams? So we'll just get that poll launched now. There we go. So again, any apps in Microsoft Teams, these could be sort of side-loaded apps, apps from the App Store, Power Apps that you may have developed, any types of apps sort of to help, with the day-to-day work and to extend sort of the basic functionality in Microsoft Teams. So if you will take a bit of time just to vote on there.
It looks like there's a fairly even mix coming through.
Great. Just wait a few more moments. Perfect. Let's go for that then.
Great. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, so it's a fairly even 50-50 mix between yes and people keen to do it in the future. So hopefully we can show you some stuff today that will give you some tips and tricks and help you on that path.
Brilliant. Cheers, Dan. Okay, so what apps are we going to be looking at today? Well, one of the first things is that we didn't want to just show you 5 standalone apps for Teams. We wanted to give you a bit of an experience that takes you through a typical business scenario using 5 yet 3 different apps that you can deploy into Microsoft Teams to achieve great things. So first up is quite a surprising one actually for us to include it here, but as Yammer Communities, it wouldn't be obvious as a sort of an app to choose, but when included in Microsoft Teams and rolled out properly in your organization, it's such a powerful tool to use. And when we go through the demo, you'll really understand why we've chosen to include this as one of our free apps to talk about today.
Cheers, Steve. I've always been a big fan of Yammer Communities, so now that it's part of Teams, I thought we should definitely have it there, which is great. Second up, we're going to look at ideas. This is an app from Microsoft that uses the Power Platform, and it allows people on the front line in your organisation to come up with ideas and innovate. And this provides a centralised app where you can view and manage those ideas. And I think it's a really nice way of engaging people within your business. And we've got a couple of cool examples that I can show you later as well.
Cheers. And then following on from that, we're going to be looking at Milestones app. So this is where, once that idea has been created, we may want to build out some milestones, some activities to take those tasks part of the project. So to do this, we can use that Milestones app. It helps managers stay on top of their work efficiently by tracking projects, initiatives, all of those sorts of things across various teams and projects and work items. And again, we can do some really nice classification with that app as well.
Okay, next up, so I guess next in that kind of journey, so we're sort of, we're working through a project, is the Issues app. Now, I'd like to say that all projects are completely trouble-free, but we all know in the real world there's going to be a few bumps along the road. So you can use this Issues app to record those issues, target them to the right person. And the other great thing is that it's available on mobile. So if you've got people on the front line doing work, they can report it where they are. They don't have to get back to the office and do it on paper. So I think it's a really cool app, which is why we added it here. Cheers.
Okay, and then lastly, we're going to look at approvals. So there's some really great things we can do with the approvals app, and there's some few features that are coming out soon that are going to be in sort of a public preview. They should be generally available this year. So that is approval templates. So the ability to create really nice, quick-to-go approval templates using the approvals app. And what we're going to do in this demo is just talk sort of around sort of that last stage of that project where we've had that issue and taken it forward to get something approved and signed off. So as an example, just looking at, say, for example, a gift card, being able to create forms within the approvals app within Microsoft Teams and quickly complete those processes without the need to create complex Power Automate workflows and those sorts of things as well. Okay. And then just handing back over to Dan, we're going to be looking at some of our partner apps. So over to you, Dan, to go through some of these.
Yeah, so we've been working with a few of these partners for the past year or so, and they've come out with some really kind of innovative apps that kind of go beyond what you can get through the App Store. From the Microsoft out-of-the-box apps. So first up, we've got itchycraft, and this is a way of displaying personalized information, a kind of personalized dashboard for your users. So it gives users the ability to kind of add the content they want, resize it, restructure on the page, and build boards that are kind of completely relevant to them. We've also got Orchestry. And Orchestry is a really cool tool for the provisioning and management of your Microsoft Teams and your SharePoint sites. So we speak to a lot of customers, and they have that issue whereby they have they want to encourage people to use these tools, but they don't want to open the floodgates and let everyone create what they want, because 6 months, a year down the line, you're going to have a complete mess. So what Orchestry does is it kind of puts some control into that. So it allows you to template your content. It allows you to manage the approval of that content, and they're also coming out with some really cool tools around the lifecycle management of that as well. And I'll hand over to Knut, the product owner and CEO of DocsNode, to give that a quick introduction as well.
Yeah, so DocsNode is your template product for all your Office templates directly into Teams. It also works, of course, inside of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. But since we are talking about Teams today, it's important for the users, to get started with those contract templates or the letterhead templates wherever your users are, and that's why we have developed this template product directly within Teams. And it's super easy to get started with your documents, and even better when you have created created them, it's stored in the right place immediately.
Brilliant. Cheers, Knut, and Dan for that good overview. So without further ado, let's get into the demo. So you can obviously see here my branding and marketing skills are top notch, and I've created a sort of a fake company called Nice Cream, putting the nice into ice. So let's now switch over to our demo. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to cover off here is the Communities app. So this is the first one that we sort of mentioned within here. So the ability to put communities and that conversation feed into your team's channels, into those channels as tabs or as apps, is quite important. Microsoft talk around this sort of inner outer loop of collaboration, in a sense, where we can have those conversations. And Microsoft Teams is, in a sense, that inner loop. It's where we're working with people on our team, people in the project, for example, and there's that sort of closed loop between that community there. Whereas Yammer gives us the option to open that community up to the wider organization, and that's really good for driving ideas and conversations. And that's really where those ideas start. If we think of the sort of the modern collaboration architecture, we sort of start from that sort of idea innovation point and then take it all the way through to delivery. And Yammer's a really good place to get all of that started. Some of the stuff we can do within here, again, we just load up as an app at the top, and we can choose which Yammer community we'd like to display. We can kick off various things, so we can do things such as start discussions, we can ask questions, we can also change those to give praise if we wanted to, and polls as well, should we also want to create some polls within there. So some nice features in there. Some of these features are in existence in Microsoft Teams, but again, the key point around this to avoid that confusion is that this is really for that open organization community. So we put some stuff in here. So we pinned an announcement, just an introduction to the Yammer community that we've got here, Nice Cream Limited. Sort of saying we want to talk about all things ice cream. It's pretty hot. The weather's been quite nice in the UK lately, so I'm not sure where Jack is up in Newcastle, but down closer to London, it's been quite nice. But we want to share some experiences, some stories, all of that sort of great stuff. So we've also created a poll here. So we're just asking people what their favorite flavor ice cream is. So again, quick poll. We're getting some inspiration and some insights from across the business rather than just from our close-knit team. We can see here that vanilla is one of the most favorite flavors. But as we go further down, we can also see there's some commentary going off from people who may be from outside of our team that we can get some inspiration from as well. So we can see here that Adele is saying that she dropped her ice cream at the weekend and her dog devoured it, and it got her thinking that she may maybe create a range of ice creams for pets. And then Dan's just commenting on there as well, and he was saying he'd definitely buy one for his dog called Rex as well. So as maybe the owner of that team or to someone in that community, I can actually respond as a comment here if I want to continue the conversation, or I can reply directly to Adele, and I can put in there sort of, Adele, this is a great idea, and that I think we should take this forward using the Ideas app to get the organization's thoughts. Maybe we can start upvoting all of that sort of great stuff as well. So I'm just going to post that as a comment back to Adele straight there. Okay, so Adele's now received that notification, and she will then take that forward and go into the Ideas app.
Cheers, Steve. So can you see my screen? Is that coming through okay? Brilliant.
Yeah, we can. Brilliant.
So so the second app we've got loaded here is the Ideas app, and this is available from the App Store, so you can search for it yourself and add it to one of your teams. And this, I think, is a great way of kind of managing ideas within your organisation. People on the front line and working their day-to-day roles are the people who are kind of are on the front line and going to be able to drive that innovation. They know how things work and what does work and what doesn't work. So really having some functionality to allow them to share those ideas with other people is a really great way of improving your business. So a good example of that I found when I was looking into this was Audi, for example. So Audi have been running an ideas program for 50 years within their organization, and in 2018 they saved 110 million euros in that year alone, and that wasn't through implementing one or two big ideas. They actually implemented 13,500 ideas across the organization in that year alone. And there was another funny example I found that when Argos got purchased by Sainsbury's, there was one of the delivery drivers came up with the idea to say, okay, well, why don't we fill up all our Argos delivery vans from the Sainsbury's petrol stations, and that idea alone saved £1.5 million a year. And as a thank you, he got a £10 gift voucher from Argos. I think I would have been slightly upset about. So yeah, so this is the app itself. So you can see the way it's organized is we've got we can all arrange different campaigns. So we've set up a number of different campaigns here. Within each of those campaigns, if I show you the example to add a new campaign, we've got some sort of basic information. So we can name the campaign, write a brief description. We can set a time frame for this as well. So maybe if we want only want this to run for a set period of time, we can define that in here, and then we can actually start building out some questions. So each of your campaigns can have different criteria and different questions depending on what it's about. And because this is part of the Power Platform, you can actually extend this yourself as well. So we've worked with customers in the past who have used these out-of-the-box apps that are available through the App Store, and we've helped them to actually take it to that next level by customizing it, adding process automation, and making it right for them. So I'll show you one that we created earlier. So we've got our ice cream flavors campaign that we set up. If I go in here, you can see that we've got a few suggestions already. I'll just click it in edit mode so you can see how this was put together. So you can see we've put an image in there, and we've got a couple of questions that we've defined on ours. Why did you choose this flavor, and how much effort do you think it will take to implement? If we wanted to, we can add an additional question. We can say, so in here we could put any other comments. And then I hit save, and that's now added to that campaign. So as a user, you can see we've got two tabs deployed by default. You've got the management tab, which is available to owners of the site. But as a user, I've got this ideas tab on the right hand side. I can come in here and I can come into ice cream flavors, and I can suggest a new idea. So I've got a slightly quirky idea, so I'm going to go for Marmite. I'm absolutely addicted to Marmite at the moment. So let's try an ice cream version. There probably is already one out there, to be honest. I can add an image. I can give it a ranking. So when I'm done, I hit submit, and that idea is now on the list for other people to see, and then we can start working this through. It's various different ideas and paths, and see whether we're going to progress with it. So with that, I'll hand back to Steve to show the next one.
Cheers, Dan. Thanks very much for that. Okay, so we've talked around sort of that open conversation and then taking those ideas through from that conversation into the ideas app. Once those ideas have sort of been upvoted, those campaigns can run for sort of a specific period of time. So at the end of the campaign, we then want to take the best idea forward and into sort of a project sort of approach. So with the Milestones app, what we can do is we can create new projects around those ideas should we want to. So we're going to click on new project in the Milestones app. Again, this is available from the App Store. So you can just click on the add tab icon, search for the app, and you can add it into your teams. It's really easy to get deployed. But we're going to create a new project called Popsicle. And we're going to add some key milestones into there. So this one will be market research. We'll do flavor testing, and we'll do production line. Okay, so there's some very basic milestones in there. Again, we can assign dates to these milestones should we want to. So we can go for the end of July. So it's all good and ready to go for next summer. And we can add more milestones in again, should we want to. But all I need to do really there is click next. Now what it will ask me to do is to add in these project members. So again, it's just using the user profile service to look up users within here. So I can add in Daniel. I can also add in Knut. There we go, and we can add in the project members into that project as well. Once I'm happy with that, I can click on create, and that will go off and create the project for me ready to use. Okay, so I can see here I've got Popsicle project starting. I may want to add some new work items in as well. So this is where I can click on the tracking, add a new work item, and this could be something like assess plant machinery ready for the production of what we're looking to do. Again, I can assign this to various people. I can align this to one of the milestones that we've selected in here. I can give it a status as well, that it's new status, categories, production, priority, P1, give the target date as well, and a description should I want to as well. So again, a nice app for me to centrally manage a lot of my projects. This app actually does integrate quite nicely with Planner, so the idea is to do all of those sorts of things as well. So once we create this will actually integrate with a lot of those areas. Okay, so we can see here that we've got the milestone added. I can also view certain things by team status as well, so I can see the number of items that Daniel has, that Knut has, that I have. Should I want to, I can also view it by that milestone status should I want to, and we've got filtering options along here as well, and I can also apply my own filters if I want to filter that list. So quite a nice way to build and manage and track those tasks against milestones and across various projects. Okay, so one of the things that we might have here though is as a project manager, we're having discussions in our team, and I've been notified that we've got a bit of a problem with the production line, and we don't have all of the parts that we would need. So I can jump back into here and I can actually change that status to blocked. Again, we can extend this app if we want to. It's all built on the Power Platform, Microsoft Dataverse for Teams, all of that sort of great technology. So if we want to extend this, we can do. If we want to add in some Power Automate workflows to kick off notifications, again, we can do all of that great stuff too. But just for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change that now to a priority P4, which is our more urgent priority. I've put it as blocked, and in here I can leave a description. So speak to Daniel about issues. Okay, great. So again, once I've done that, I can update that there. That will then update that item, and again, I can use all of the filtering to view any issues that I have with any of the tasks, any of the projects that I've got going on. Okay, so once that's done, I can then probably drop Daniel a message in Microsoft Teams to chat. So I can jump over to the issues tab here. I can start a new conversation, and within here, I can just mention Daniel. An issue with the meat grinder. So this is for dog food, for example, if this was the one that we've upvoted. So we want to create a meat flavored ice cream. I'm telling him that we've got an issue with that. I'm just going to ping that across to him now. And so he can then take this problem forward and use the issues app, which I think Daniel's going to jump into now.
Brilliant, cheers, Steve. Yeah, so next up, app number 4 is the issues app. So the idea around this app is that you can empower people to report issues, whether they be working on, frontline workers, on the production line, out in the community, or working from home. This could be a way of replacing those kind of incident reporting systems that you have when you're in an office. We're all working from home now, so we've got to use different apps and different ways of kind of reporting these things. But for our scenario, for our ice cream company, we're using this to kind of track issues on the production line. So the Milestones app again is available via the App Store within Teams. The other great thing about this one as well, it's fully responsive, so it works on mobile devices. So you can, people can report these issues from their work devices or their personal mobile devices if you've enrolled them in your environment, and they can manage this stuff and report issues as they occur. So hopefully you can resolve these issues much quicker. So again, kind of similar to the other apps, when the app is deployed, you get a number of different tabs across the top. I'm going to show you the kind of management screen first. So the management screen does a couple of things. So it allows us to see some nice information about our issues that are out there. So we've got recent issues, we can see anything that's overdue, and we've also got some KPIs built into this, so we can actually see what our average time to resolve these issues is. But within this, we can also customize it. So maybe you want different KPIs for your organization. We can work with you to kind of build out this using the Power Platform. In terms of the kind of management of how you define the issues, in this management tab, we've got an option here to create issue templates. And this is kind of broken down into two separate parts. So we have categories. So this might be different parts of your organization. So maybe you want to use this app across multiple departments or multiple projects. Within this, you can define categories. And these are a way of arranging those issues effectively, simple as that. So we give it a title and then we can add an icon. So you can see here we've already built a few of these. So we've got one here for the production line. So this is our ice cream factory. We've got the production line up and running. We're making our dog flavored liver and other meat lollies, and we're using this to track those issues. So within this category, we can also define issue templates. So maybe we want to collect different information depending on the type of issue that we're dealing with. So we've built a few already. So if I show you what these look like, you can add new ones up here at the top. But if I, for example, show this decreased efficiency one, within this, you can see how we can add new questions. So we can set KPIs on this. So we can say how quickly should this be resolved. We're going to say, production line is obviously important. Efficiency is massive to us. So we're going to set this to 1 day. We can click to automatically assign this to users. So I'm going to choose Stephen on this one. So Stephen will automatically be assigned any issues around decreased efficiency, but you could leave that open and people can assign it at a later date, either as they create the record or once after it's been submitted. And then we've added some questions in here. So at the moment, these are just text questions out of the box. If you wanted to kind of, put in some slightly more complex questions, that's where you have to go into that kind of customization area. But we've defined a few questions that we're going to use out of the box here. So we've got how many units should be produced now, what's the current rate, and what's the suspected cause. So if I actually go through to issue reporting, so I'm going to come out of this management screen now, and I'm going to go into the user screen. Much like the other apps, access to these tabs is based on your membership within the team. So if you're a team owner, you can see the you can use the management tab. But if you're just a normal user, you go into this one. So I'm gonna report an issue here. We've got a problem with the production line. Steve identified that in the Milestones app that that particular task has been blocked. So what we're going to do is we're going to investigate this. So you can see here, I think I didn't save it on this particular issue, but I'm going to assign this to Stephen. We can use GPS as well. So this can use, because this is obviously made for mobile phones as well. If you're doing this, maybe you're working for a council and you're out and about doing site inspections and checking for signage or something like that. You can use GPS to automatically tag where that location is. It'll record the longitude and latitude, and then we can represent that on a map at a later date if needed. So let me just choose the issue type. I did miss something there. Okay, so I'm going to choose production, and I'm going to choose decreased efficiency. And in here, I'm going to say line is running slow. We should be producing 100 units an hour. We're only producing 50. I think this is related to the meat grinder. I'm just going to put some details in here. We need a 4-bolt adapter with part number, let's say 987123. Okay, so I'm going to submit this issue. I can go back to home, and actually where these issues are stored, this is integrated with Planner. So in the back end, I can actually click on issues here, and I can see as a manager, I can see a board with all of the issues we've recorded. By default, they're organised by the issue category, but I can actually start changing this around. So as a manager or someone who's taken on one of these tasks, I can view it by who it's assigned to. I can come in here and view it by progress. So I know this decreased efficiency one. I know this is being progressed, so I'm going to drag this across and put it into in progress. So this is a kind of really nice way we can manage these issues. And this is a good way of kind of taking stuff maybe out of an IT help desk ticketing system. That's great for IT tasks, but what about all those kind of other tasks that you use across the business? So trying to get away from I guess emails and Excel spreadsheets to record this kind of information. So I've logged my issue. I'm going to pass this back to Steve, and he can get an approval to order this new part that we need.
Cheers, Daniel. So as Dan was showing his screen, again, because we're all working in Microsoft Teams, I've been popped up with notifications that I've been assigned an issue as well. So one of the things I want to do is I want to check this, maybe have a look into the details. But now I need to know, I've got which part number I need to order. I have to go through the approval process for that. So approvals for Teams, we mentioned earlier there's some Teams templates or approval templates that are coming out soon. So this is going to be really useful for these sorts of processes, allowing me to essentially just to click on a type of template and then get up and running with that as well. Unfortunately, it's not quite in public release yet. And we haven't got it in our tenant, but again, if you want more information, there's lots of stuff we can pass through on that as well. One of the things I can do though is I can start an approval from various places, one from either over on the side loaded app if I wanted to, or I can do it from the chat within the channel itself. So I can be in my approvals channel, I can jump across to here, I can start a new conversation, and I can start an approval process. So again, we've got a couple of different options, basic or DocuSign or Adobe Sign if we need to. I can also give a sort of a quick name of that request as well. So I need part number 987123. I can put in the approvers into there as well. So I'm going to put Daniel as the approver to that. If I wanted to put more people in there, I can also toggle whether I want to require an approval from more users. So again, if we just put in Knut into that as well, I can toggle that on or off. So either first past the post or for everyone to do that as well. Again, additional details, I can paste some of that information into there as well. So it's about that issue we have with the production line. And again, add any attachments, also turn on custom responses. And if I wanted to, I could send that to other environments. That's potentially other teams, other channels, other Dataverse environments within there as well. So pretty straightforward. I will then essentially click on send to that. That will create my approval request. Because I haven't used it in there. Approval in the conversations before, so I'm just going to kick that off. That's then showing me that it's requesting, and a nice sort of adaptive card there for me showing all of that information. Again, it's really good to have that in the chat as well. But I can also go over to my approvals tab within here, and I can see there's lots of different approvals if I want to review that as a whole. And this actually hooks up quite nicely with Power Automate as well. Okay, so once that's done, Dan will then go off and approve that. He'll get that sort of approval done, and we can then complete whatever other processes we may want to have around there as well. So a really useful sort of a tool and application there. Okay, so that's the end of our demo on Nice Cream. So hopefully you've seen how those 5 apps can sort of all integrate into each other. What we're actually going to do now is have a look at some of the apps from our partners. So I'm first off going to jump into our first app, which is Orchestry. And we'll then be going through itchycraft as well, and then we'll be handing over to Knut to go through DocsNode as well. So we already had a team created for Nice Cream, which is our Nice Cream Limited sort of company. But the way I could have done this could have been through our Teams app in Microsoft Teams for Orchestry. So I can select a Nice Cream project here. And what the actual template will do for me within Orchestry is it builds up a set of features and document templates ready for me to go as part of that team. So I'm not having to think about, if I'm creating a project, what templates do I need? Do I need to find the latest version of the project vision? Do I need to find the latest or the correct version of the marketing fact sheet? We can actually assign all of these templates to the teams themselves. And we can also add some features into the SharePoint site that sits behind the scenes as well. So things such as calendars, countdown timers, Twitter, whatever it is we may want to do. If I wanted to add a few more, again, I can jump in there and add a few more templates in, should I want to. I can get a quick description about the template that I'm adding in too. But I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to give my project a name. So I'm just going to call it Dapt for now. Again, one of the things with creating lots of teams is we probably want to check if a team already exists within our environment before we go off and start creating. So I can see here that it's suggesting to me actually there's some teams already in existence and some SharePoint sites that already have the name Dapt. So I might want to call it something else. So I want to call it Pupsicle. So I definitely do want a new team. Again, I can add a team logo, description. I can apply metadata to that team as well, should I want to. So really useful way of adding that metadata in. And then I can go to continue. I can add channels in there, any custom channels, and we can also prescribe channels within this template as well. Lastly, again, we can talk about owners, so we can require that the team template has a minimum number of owners within there, and also a minimum number of members should we wish, whether it's private, public. And there's a lot more sort of features that we can do within there. We've actually got a really nice video on YouTube that goes through all of this in quite detail. And again, once that's created, I can then choose whether this goes through an approval process, but essentially I can just click that as done, and that will go off and provision that template for me. So now I'll hand it over to Daniel, who's going to have a quick overview of itchycraft. So over to you, Dan.
Cheers, Steve. Yeah, so Orchestra is a great product. A lot more to show than we can squeeze into kind of 5 minutes in this demo session. The same applies for itchycraft. So if you wanted to see more, get in touch. We can arrange a kind of full demo for any of these products. This particular app is called itchycraft. And as I mentioned before, this is that kind of personalized dashboard that you can allow users to create. I've got it loaded within Teams. Obviously this webinar is all about Teams, so I thought I'd embed it here. But you can just as easily deploy this to one of your SharePoint sites, whether that be your SharePoint intranet, a team site, a project site. This works across all of those areas. So I'm not going to show you all the features, but I'll give you a quick kind of whistle-stop tour. You can define dashboards for your users. So maybe you want to define kind of a core set of information that people need depending on their department. So we've got an example here whereby we've set up a sales dashboard. So if you're in the sales team, you can automatically pick this dashboard, and this has all the information and all the apps you need to use. And it's a great way of kind of combining stuff within Microsoft 365, other cloud-based apps in your environment. So you can see here we can link off to other apps that aren't Microsoft 365. It can kind of provides that jump-off point to the rest of your apps within your organization. So I'm going to grab this app. This looks good to me. You can see there's the kind of full wizard experience to this. So I can click through, and you can see here I can move widgets around. So I can customize the look and feel of this whole environment. I can resize widgets, so I can drag and drop to make them bigger or smaller depending on my preferences. I can some of these widgets are locked, so as a manager, if I want to make sure that people have this widget in their dashboard, I can force it to be locked. Others I can leave unlocked, like some of these, so people can delete the widget if it's not relevant to them. And there's some configuration options within each of these widgets. So the news, for example, I can come in here and choose which sites I want to follow, and you'll find that there's different configuration menus for each of the various different apps depending on their purpose. So that's a kind of team-based app. As a user, I might also want to create my own personal dashboard. So I'm not going to create a full dashboard, but I'll just show you, how you can get one up, how quickly you can get one up and running. Sorry, I forgot to mention up here at the top as well, there's that kind of personalized area that allows me to see kind of any to-do tasks, any planner tasks I've been assigned. So, we've got that issues app, any issues that have been logged in that particular planner will show up in here. I can see unread messages and also, any appointments that I've got upcoming, so my next appointment. So I'm going to add a board. Let me come up here. So I'm going to add a board. I'm going to call this Dan. Steve suggested Dan's board, but that might not give the right message. And then this is where I can start adding my widgets. So yeah, you can
Oh, it looks like we've lost Dan's. Oh, there we go. He's back.
I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, there had to be some problem with my internet, otherwise, you know, it wouldn't be normal. Okay, so you can see I can drag and drop this news web part, and I can make it as big or small as I like, and I can start adding other web parts based on my preferences. So maybe I want to put in events. I want to add my OneDrive documents. Let's move this down here. So you can see, you know, it's very easy to build your own personalized dashboards. Now, I think this is a great way. You know, one of the common requirements we have with people when we deploy things like intranets is how do we make that customizable, relevant to my users? This is one of the things that often comes up. So I just wanted to give you a flavor of what that does. I'm going to hand over to Knut now to show you DocsNode. Sorry about the internet issues.
All right, thank you, Daniel, and great demo of itchycraft. So it's a great product as well as Orchestry. So and we all know that everybody needs to have some personal productivity where itchycraft comes in. So let me share my screen, and I hope you can see it right now. And let's go in here. So you can see my screen okay, I hope? Yeah, great. So as we mentioned with DocsNode, DocsNode is actually your template library within Microsoft Teams. So either you can start it from Microsoft Teams, or you can go into Word, Excel, or PowerPoint and start it as the Office add-in we provide there as well. But today I will focus on the Teams app that is integrating into Microsoft Teams. It's not available in the Teams store yet, but you can just contact us if you want a trial or if you want more in-depth demo, and we will be happy to provide that. As you can see now, I'm inside of DocsNode. I can search my templates up here. I can apply different kind of views and different kind of filters, and I have my folder structures, because a lot of customers that we have been talking to, they have different people that should have access to different type of templates. For instance, maybe you are a hotel and you need somebody to have access to this set of templates, and then another set of people should have access to this set of templates. And with our folders, we can actually give you access to different bits with just setting permissions, because in the backend here, of course, everything are stored in SharePoint. So if I will go into the Dapt folder here, we will see that now we will come in, we will see again, other subfolders, because we can have a lot of folders if we like to do that. We can then go into different type of agreements, and here we will see all the templates that we have based on our preferences. So here, of course, you can create as few or as many as you want. Inside of the Teams app, of course, we support PowerPoint, Word, and Excel, and we also support like the PPTX and PotX and docx and all the template files as well from Microsoft. So if I want to create some documents right now, I can also do multi-select. This is something really nice. So let's say that you have a project and you need to have a set of documents inside of the projects when you get started. So after you create this with Orchestry, for instance, you can then put all your templates really easy with just a few clicks into your project when you have created that as well. So, or we can just select one of them, and then we can do a preview, and you can see more what is this document all about. When you are ready to create, you will just click the create button. Then you can see here that we are loading our favorites, like the pin location, the ones we have used before and decided to pin, or we can go and find and store inside of all of the location inside of Microsoft Teams, or we can do our OneDrive and find and store them in our personal storage if that is preferable. One thing that we have done is that we have also kind of implemented the fact that maybe somebody in our team went to SharePoint and created a folder there inside of the teams instead of creating a channel. And we're also showing those inside of here, and you can see that this is an SP folder, so it's a SharePoint folder, so it haven't been created as a channel. And the same we will do if you actually in the channel will pin a document library. We will also show it here as part of the channel structure and the team structure. So let's say I just want to create my file here. I'll just click create, and this is just hello world 1, and I'll click save, and now my document is created and it's ready, and we can start to use it immediately in a few seconds. I can choose to open in my desktop app, and then we're opening this document inside of Microsoft Word, and it's ready to start to work with already. So if you are interested in DocsNode, please reach out to us, and we will be happy to provide you in-depth demo of it. And that's it. So back to you, Stephen, I guess.
Cheers, Knut. Yeah, absolutely. I think to fit those 3 great apps into one session is going to be sort of really tricky to do in the time that we have. So I'd definitely recommend speaking to Knut, speaking to Daniel, myself, and or get in touch with Jack as well, just to go through any of those apps in more detail. It's definitely worth recommended to do. So let me just get my next screen back up again. Okay, so I'm actually going to hand over to Daniel now off the back of those demos. We hope you enjoyed them. We hope we gave you a bit of a story around how those 5 apps can form part of an overall process rather than sort of just look at them as a standalone option. But again, if you do want to chat to any of us, we're all on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out about any of the stuff we've covered today. But Dan, over to you just to get started with those top tips.
Cheers, Steve. Yeah, so this is really, I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of where you can get some of these apps and the different types of apps that are available. So the majority of the ones we've shown you today, in fact, if not all of them, of the 5 apps, are available via the Teams App Store. So this is that icon in the bottom left-hand corner with kind of 4 squares. Within there, you can search and deploy a range of Microsoft apps. There's also a ton of third-party apps in there. Some of them are fully functional, some are kind of demos, but definitely it's worth a look in there and worth deploying some of these apps. Next up, we've got kind of Microsoft app templates. Microsoft app templates go beyond the functionality of what's available in the App Store. I'll just chuck a link into the chat just to show you so you can go and look at these. But these are kind of I'd say more complex applications. So there's one in there for request a team, for example. There's another one for book a room. And they typically involve slightly more complicated deployments. So we've worked with some customers to deploy some of these apps, and some of them require kind of Azure components, additional deployment stages. So it can be a bit more tricky. So I'd start off with the App Store. But if you want to see what's possible kind of at that next level, maybe look at those app templates. As we've shown you today as well, there's also some great third-party apps out there. So products like Orchestra and itchycraft. Some of them have samples in the App Store that you can test out and try. Orchestra, for one, definitely has that. Others, work through a partner network such as ourselves to install and make sure that you get them deployed correctly. But they're all available within the Teams client, which we think is really important now. It seems to be that Teams is becoming that kind of focal point for Microsoft 365. And deploying these apps and integrating all these various different systems makes it much easier for your users. I guess the final option, which we've done for a number of customers, is custom apps. So we can either start from scratch and build custom apps from the ground up, whether that's the Power Platform or there's a range of other development options there, or we can modify those templates provided by Microsoft. So we've taken both approaches with our customers in the past, and we'd be happy to do the same for you guys. If you want to know more, feel free to get in touch. The other thing I just wanted to do quickly before I pass the slide on was just to send you a couple of those examples I mentioned earlier of ideas management. So just so you can read up and get an idea of kind of how other people have used these kind of idea programs to increase revenues or improve their services to their customers. Brilliant. With that, I'll pass back to Joe.
Thanks very much, Dan. Thanks very much, guys, as well, for doing that. And thanks very much to everyone for joining. I appreciate you taking time out of your diaries. We hope you find it insightful. It cleared up some questions and gave you some good insights. If there are any other questions that you still might have, there's numerous avenues to get in touch with us. You can visit our website, or you can email us info@dapt.uk. And then we're on all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and then LinkedIn. We will be having another webinar on bringing your intranet into Microsoft Teams. The invite for those will go out on LinkedIn, and also, obviously, it'd be great if you guys could come as well. And I am also just going to put a little link to a feedback form in the chat here. We really appreciate your feedback. Helps us to kind of, identify areas to improve. If we're perfect, great. Tell us we're perfect. But I'm sure you'll have suggestions for improvement, and we'd love to hear them. And I'm just going to put that link in the chat now. But thanks very much, everyone, for coming.
Thank you. Thanks, Jack. And yeah, thanks to all attendees. Again, if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us either on LinkedIn. It'd be great to hear if you are deploying any apps as well, any case studies or stories that you have to tell us, and it'd be great to hear and comment on those as well. So surprisingly, we've actually finished with 7 minutes to go, so I think we've done quite well with the timing here. So you've got 7 minutes back to your working day. So feel free to go grab that coffee that you will need. Again, we'll be announcing the prize winner at the end of this as well. So everyone who's attended today and has actually turned up to the webinar will be actually entered into that prize draw. So you should be seeing that out on LinkedIn very soon. But without anything else, it's been great to have you all, and we shall see you hopefully on the next webinar. Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.